Alright guys, we're back with more Scarlet Nexus. What's going on? Yeah, I think I'm gonna listen to the podcast.
Way more aggressive than we're saying.
You sound like Mark.
And why would he do? Like, why would that be necessary? Like, that's just like so antagonistic for me for no reason. Like, I really don't buy that.
I mean, do you think it could just
I don't know
be as
what
simple
I am.
as that he didn't know like where the idol was gonna go? He didn't know if it was gonna be if Shay was gonna play it on herself or if Shay
Still so
was
far
gonna
away.
play it on Brianna. And so let me just put it on the person that I know isn't gonna have an idol placed on them.
I think what was confusing about it was just that it was his one vote. Like, sure, if two people split on Chrissy, then you're like, oh, just in case Shay and Brianna are working together, then we need 2 votes to counter their 2 votes and the idol that Shay has. But I think just putting
I'm not gonna bother
like,
to play
Shay's
unless
gonna
it
say
forces me
Brianna,
to.
they have 2 votes, your 1 vote has been an irrelevant split. So I think it's just they're trying to work that out. Excited to get that in the post-season press, maybe, because I think it's just
Will you do a Mark and Sam deep dive together?
That's so fun. Like, honestly, like, if they keep going in this direction, that would feel... That wouldn't feel fair. Like, they should get their own deep dives if they're going to
They
play
should
like
get their own
this.
deep dives. No,
Yeah.
I think as a couple, I think that's a fun element though as a podcast.
I know, that's going to be like hours and hours. Not that I would, haven't done that before, but man, if you get like 2 power players on different beaches, having to both give their story like 2 in 1, like, I'll be there all day. If people want to listen to, I would say if people want to listen to a 5-hour deep dive, but I've done a 5-hour deep dive, then they do.
With
But
one
yeah.
person. 10-hour deep dive.
Yeah, it's true. Oh my god. They're really a marathon, which is what Matt and Martha used to.
Yeah.
So, just thought it was good. Okay, I need your thoughts on how do you feel about Track to Christmas? This has been highly debated. And I feel like my take on it is hot.
How much does Croc know?
Croc is a super fan.
Croc's a super fan?
Yeah, I mean, like, what is
What about Croc's wife?
We know nothing of the super fan card does not get passed to his sister, obviously. She doesn't know what's going on. People are loving it because Chrissy is an icon. But I'm a little annoyed that she knows nothing about the show. Do you join me on this?
I mean, I always think it's weird.
Right?
You go on a show, and it's like, well, I should really watch this show before I go on it. Like, I can't imagine, like, the show I would go be on, and then, like, no, even if I'm on a podcast, I try to listen to a couple episodes before I come in.
Well, I join you on that. I mean, I put like 3,500 words of notes for this podcast. Like, I shouldn't be putting in that much more prep than people going on the show. And, okay, I have to, like, obviously Chrissy is an icon. She adopted her kids, clearly great person. Like, that's a beautiful story. She's super, super funny. Like, we love Chrissy as a character, obviously. But I just feel like when everyone's saying, oh, it's so fun that she knows nothing about the show, but you criticize Andrew last season, Sam Webb, for not doing, like, the obvious prep, then it's kind of hypocritical to not criticize Chrissy for the same thing. Just because you love her, you can still love her and be like, Chrissy, make better choices.
Right. I mean, maybe it's a little bit different, like, when a person is, like, a celebrity. Like, with this, okay, so we have Celebrity Big Brother going on right now.
Chrissy is not a celebrity, though.
Right. So I feel like that the Celebrity Big Brother's like, all right, this is just a thing I'm doing as a celebrity, collecting a paycheck.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just gonna do. This is like for my brand. But you would think if that's not you fitting your description.
Okay, but here's the other thing.
I was just did it as a favor for Croc.
It's
Fine, I'll go, but I'm not studying.
But, okay, so she has 3 kids. I'm thinking, I don't have 3 kids. I don't know what it's like to not have that kind of time. But they were in quarantine for 2 weeks. You can watch at least a season of Australian Survivor. I'm not saying
you could try. You could start.
Yeah, you could start. You could get a couple of episodes in 2 weeks. Like, it's the quarantine for me. Why did you watch 1 episode in quarantine? Chrissy's killing me.
Look, the woman had 17 confessionals this week.
Yeah, well, yeah, she doesn't need to study up on how to get confessionals. It's innate. I appreciate that, but I also think, I'm just concerned about how this is going to go for her. Like, I can't do the most minor of tasks without the most maximum of prep. And to go on Survivor, I just can't hang with that. Like, to go on Survivor and to not know what you're getting yourself in, you must be a brave person.
But look, there is like a lot of like well-documented like Survivor success stories of the person. Like, I mean, look at like the Noras of the world that like
Nora's a Survivor success story.
I think so. I mean, she's somebody who you would not say was like a Survivor super fan, and somebody who goes
Like,
to the
why not
final
let you go
3
whole?
in a season. Nobody would say that she has like great ideas about things by any stretch of the imagination. But there she is. So
Yeah.
I do think that there is some, like, you see this on Survivor where like nobody fears Chrissy.
Yeah, I mean, Chrissy, you didn't study, but you can have a trajectory as good as Nora, and you don't even know that that's an insult because you don't watch the show. I don't know. I just think like she doesn't have to be a fan. I just want to qualify that. Like, fun to have recruits, fun to have people who are at different fandom levels, fun to watch someone out of their element for sure. I just think watch one season in quarantine, and I think that it's fine to say that. But let's talk a little bit about Shay and Brianna, who were definitely focal people. Brianna also got tons of confessionals before she went home.
Yeah.
Thoughts on their gameplay through this week?
Well, I mean, it seems like that Brianna went really overboard with the fishing kit reward of that. Okay, well, I know there's a clue in here. I'm just gonna go through it. I mean, they seem to have gotten like a taste of one idol, and now they got a little idol crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Brianna was caught trying to get and failing to get 3 idols. 3 idols in 2 episodes. That, with the tackle box, and then Shay's idol, and then the podium idol, like, none of that went well, and they were all so public.
She's a maximalist.
Yeah?
You don't know what that means.
It means that her dad is Juicy
She wants
Dave.
everything. Yeah. Her dad is Juicy Dave.
Yeah.
What is her occupation? She's a professional roller skater?
And TV presenter, yeah. It's not just a
TV
hobby.
presenter.
She's a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
The intro package was like, hey, I roller skate, and I'm like, don't mess with me. And it was just like, and I have a dad.
I roller skate, don't mess with me, I have a dad. Yeah, we really got it. They really shoehorned in everything we needed to know about Juicy Dave's heir apparent.
It's like, apparently Brianna's dad is on this season.
And he was Juicy Dave all along. I love
He was Juicy Dave.
Yeah, because he talks about the transfer of a dream. Like, Juicy Dave might know as little as Chrissy, which might explain a lot. I don't know that he was missing anything in quarantine. Like, he's there, literally, definitely is a favorite to Brianna. Like, you talk about Chrissy, is she doing it? Like, there's no question. That's why Juicy Dave is there, and now she's gone. I'm surprised he doesn't just quit. Like, why? Like, I feel like he just came out there for her.
Well, it's the transfer of the dream. Now it's like, okay, well now I have to bring this home for Brianna.
Yeah, and I don't want to pull myself too early, but I don't think that he will. I don't think.
Yeah, you think so? You think so? That's your professional Survivor expert opinion?
Well, I just think like, okay, so just picturing JLP reading the votes at Final Tribal Council, I just like. A winner. Grand Survivor, Blood vs. Water. Juicy Dave. I can't see it. I don't know. I feel maybe it's so unfortunate for everyone involved because like they cast Brianna to be this like Twitter icon, Shawnee type, entertaining, cool roller skater girl, and then she brought her dad. And now Juicy Dave is pretty much most of the words I've said in the last week. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah, even from the preseason, David is more than happy to follow Brianna. He says, I've been vortexed into this dream, and I'm pumped.
That's why you have to become Juicy Dave. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot. I feel like we should get just a dramatic, they do the dramatic promos. We get one from just Juicy Dave to Juice by Lizzo. My fault that I'm out here getting loose. Just like shots of Juicy Dave. Gotta blame it on the juice. Oh, it's great.
One of my favorite things about the Survivor Global podcast feed is when you bring in different alternative soundtracks, promo songs.
I'm trying to work into every podcast. Was that one seamless?
Yeah, that was great.
It came to me on the moment. I love Juice by Lizzo. I'm going to be listening to it and thinking about Juicy Dave all weekend. Like, that's his soundtrack.
I mean, are there more Juice songs? Gin and Juice?
I feel like I recently saw a post that was like, when Juice sounds like Juice in songs. And it was, as a Jew, I found it. It was from someone Jewish. It's fine. There was
Juice WRLD?
There's a Bruno Mars song with Juice in it. Oh, he's like, is it this dancing juice? Hey, Juicy Dave, I I don't want to marry you. It kind of went off topic. I don't think that one works. Might have to go back to Lizzo with that. Sometimes you strike gold on the first one, you should keep going. But that's the promo for Juicy Day, so make it happen, social media team, because I'd love to see it.
I mean, the best songs with Juice in the title, we've got, I think we covered them all.
Yeah, just use my list. It's fine. You said sometimes you strike gold, you shouldn't keep going. Just, sometimes you want to just stop it on the first one. But for Brianna, who is literally the reason we have Juicy Days, and it's 100% of the reason. Also not that great. Not a great week for Brianna. Like, obviously she goes home, but I mean, you think Andy didn't do a lot wrong. Do you feel like Brianna has something to say in that? Like, did she do something wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I thought she had like a much bigger faux pas than Andy had between like going after the idol in front of everybody. Also, between like a couple of times, multiple times doing that. So I think that was, not necessarily great.
No, not the best. I mean, she as well throwing out names.
Oh, they already have.
Throwing out Autoimmune Chrissy and the Tribal Council, making an enemy.
Khan says Brianna is intense.
Yeah, I mean, I did find that funny. She's just in confessional talking about how she's not chill and like yelling it. So I was like, pretty well described. Like, I can't overstate that there are 12 people in these starting tribes. It should be easy to blend in. Like, you do not need to stand out early. Like, if you are standing out, you're doing something wrong.
Certainly, yeah. Were you at
Also, I didn't need to come here.
fooled in the edit on episode 2 when Shay has the item?
Yes.
And is thinking like, well, I could play it for Brianna, or I could, or I could like play it safe.
Yeah. I mean, I thought she shouldn't play it. And I think
but did you think she would at any point?
I don't know, people always ask me this. I'm like, not kind of like tracking my thought process as I watch. I think that I thought she'd let it go. I'm very much looking at like, Shay, just let it die. Like, just let it go. Because like, how did you feel about this? Because some people came to Twitter to ask me, because I often say you want to choose an ally over an idol. But in this case, I think, no, you don't want to do that. Not with Brianna.
I felt like that Shay had like enough like plausible deniability to be able to like. I feel like if they go to the next tribal council, I don't think that Shay is necessarily going to be the next person voted out. So I felt like that Shay was like smart enough to see that. Okay, bro, I'm not going to go down with the ship here. Let me go ahead and I'll keep my idol. Let's see what happens next time.
Yeah.
Let me give it a shot without Brianna.
Yeah, I mean, Brianna at this point is drawing a lot of attention to them as a pair. He's really kind of like a weight. Kind of dragging I think both of them down. And Shay seems to have relationships. Like, she has other options. Stage 4, like, cut the loss, let's rally. Ben also is probably creating options. Like, you don't need to tie yourself to this person who's, like, clearly not long for the game. Go out of your way to save them, annoy everyone to, like, individually save this person, use an idol to do it. Like, I think at that point you pretty much just lost the game for yourself. Like, that's not a way to integrate. That's a way, again, to stand out in a tribe of 12 and just irritate people to the point that you've alienated yourself from, like, 9 other people.
I just
Yeah, she's got her partner on the other side.
Yeah, Ben. Ben who saved Sandra. Can you please give more respect to Ben? He was helping Sandra. We love Ben.
Yeah, he helps it. I mean, Sandra, like, I don't want to not give Sandra her credit. I mean, Sandra, like, correctly identifies, like, okay, I'm gonna buddy up to the alpha males, and they keep me around because, they look at me as a number. So she gets it. She knows what she's doing. And she knew, Ben was, like, I feel more comfortable with keeping her around. So good job by Sandra, like, knowing all that. And good job by Ben to keep around Sandra.
I feel like I always think about Sandra as fighting with the alpha males, which she does. But then she does align with the alpha males in ways I've never really considered as much. Like, obviously, Boston Rob Rupert is an alpha male.
Yep.
Yeah.
Job provider, certainly. Yep.
Tony, who rivals her into the ally. Yeah, she has one per season as well. But then Boston Rob also was a rival for her. What's a rival like? Wow, I don't want to get that bad.
That was like Yeah, you definitely don't want to get on Sandra's bad side.
I don't.
But I mean,
love
the
her.
rivalry with Boston Rob was about other like extenuating circumstances where she felt like that he was, not telling her the truth. But in terms of like, you put her into a season with like people she hasn't met before, she's gonna sort of like buddy up to the big strong guys.
No, but like what about Tony and the game changes or Russell?
She was open to working with Tony until she found him laying in the spy bunker.
I hate that.
Remember?
That happened. No, I'm actually repressed. That was the worst. That was that one ad break where you thought, then they did work together, and then Tony won another season. You know, I think I've made my peace with what's happening anyway.
Sandra, like, I don't know if we were just sort of like fact checking. I think we're just giving Sandra a lot of liberty. She said a lot of things in these episodes. She said, I've gone up against the biggest villains in Survivor history, and I beat them every single time.
Except the 2 times you lost. She said that
Make the clock full. Yeah.
anyone who's written her name down as number 1, Sarah Lucina Erasure. It's easy, like, because she's always, like, she's won 2 of the time.
Listen, it's when,
It's fine.
Sandra, like, that her followers and her supporters, like, that we take her seriously, but not literally.
Okay, yeah, exactly. And also, Sarah Lucina, did Game Changers count? That's not Sarah Lucina Erasure, that's Game Changers Erasure. And
Game Changers canon, that's a great question.
Yes, it's not. I think it's officially not now. Sandra has made that.
Yeah, with Sandra, it's more vibes than fact.
Yeah. Oh, though I did fact check her on Twitter. Do you think that I should have?
I mean,
Well, I was like, yes, Queen, erase Sarah Lucina. Like, I was very supportive of it, but I was just like, it's not true, but it's fine. I'm happy to go with your reality, but let's just call it what it is.
yeah, it's more of like, we'll go with it. Not everybody from Australia is gonna be in fact. Hey, look, is U.S. Survivor canon in Australia?
Yes.
Yeah, it's,
We're all one world, Rob. Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The world's getting smaller. But I thought, thankful for Ben that's helping Sandra out. And Shay, who was my winner pick, I thought up and down week. That's again, standing out in like 12 people don't. But then it's like leading a yoga class, which is for some reason, isn't it like so much yoga on Australian Survivor? Just like
Yoga.
lot of yoga.
Even when Henry's not here.
This is why I couldn't go on Survivor. I just don't want to do yoga. I don't want to go to a yoga class. That's one of the main reasons that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I feel like Mark
Damn it.
probably.
How's
He was
this
on
one
that track.
work?
Yeah, Mark was like, why every time is yoga such a big part of my journey? Are you actually even a yoga instructor? I've heard, I've seen this film before.
I've seen it both ways.
Exactly. But no, I really liked, obviously, her decision to let Brianna go. I also was cheering when the votes came out, because obviously there were 2 votes for Chrissy, and you would think,
whatever.
okay, so that was Brianna. Like, she didn't save her, but she kind of threw her a bone and not voting for her. But she did, went all out and voted for her. And I thought that was great. Like, I spoke about it with Dr. Amanda Rabinovitz on the psychological principles of the game podcast that we did. Foot in the door strategy, get in there, you're with someone, like, cast that vote and just never look back. Because Brianna is, like, drowning behind you, just absolutely keep swimming.
Yeah, who cares?
She's gone. It's done.
Yeah. Brianna is still gonna be friends with you after the season. She doesn't know anybody else except for Juicy Dave.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that this was really good. And we had a lot of questions as well, which is, Shay finds an idol in a tree. I love that mechanism, by the way, with the stick. Well,
This is wild.
Oh, fuck off, it's another one?
what about it? Just that they can't give it to her?
So it's like she finds like this pole. She's like, what is this? Oh, throw this back. But it's like the pole has blue paint on it, and it's like, so she starts looking up.
Oh, I think of any pole that you find, someone should raise an eyebrow at. But yeah.
Yeah, right.
It has
It's
water
like,
paint, Rob. Please be on the right side of history, not blue paint.
Sorry, blue water paint on it.
Yes.
But I think water paint is actually a literal different thing.
Well, I don't care. I very much lean to the bit.
Yeah. And so then she's like, I gotta like jam the pole up there. But it's
Jam the pole. You said.
Yeah. And she's gotta like pop this thing out. Now in U.S. Survivor, we saw in I think it was in Co Wrong, like I think there was an idol up in the tree like that. But I don't think they provided you with the pole.
Someone was binging like the late 20s to early 30s.
Co Wrong.
Yeah, with the
Co Wrong. There's a lot here.
Yeah, there's a lot. I only have time to watch one season, which Chrissy, anyway, that one person watch one season, they're taking all the good bits from it. It works. They also, they Brain versus Brawn. But wow, Kurong is absolutely like essential viewing for Australian Survivor watchers.
Yeah, it's the spiritual successor
Yes.
to Australian Survivor.
Yes. So, woman one, there's a lot there. And so, yes, it's like a team effort to like jimmy the thing down from the tree.
Yeah.
And then Khan
How many
gets it
floors are there?
Yes.
in his hand. That's his idol.
Yes. Yes.
He gives it to Shay.
Yes.
Technically, like, on the Wikipedia page of idols, like, it should say that Khan found an idol.
I mean, this is like when Eric Reichenbach found the idol in Caramel and gave it to Andrea.
Yeah, I think, like, imagine if he did it. That would be just, like, a game-losing move on day 3 for no reason.
I mean, it was Final Destination. Khan's gonna have an idol pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly. He earned it. Yeah, so I think obviously you pass it to her. And then she has an idol, but they don't split on her. And I saw this a lot on social media, which is, firstly, why aren't you like full splitting on Brianna and Shay? Secondly, why aren't you making Shay the primary so that you flush your idol out? And I think like it speaks to Shay's integration. Like they also really, really seem to want specifically Brianna out. So they can't risk Shay being the primary, not playing the idol, and then you're stuck still with Brianna, who seems to be causing problems. I think they don't want Shay to go. Like, I think Chrissy would be a better option for them. I think that like, it's really impressive from Shay that they don't split on her.
Do you think that the players are thinking about who their loved ones are also when they're making these decisions in terms of like, okay, well, Shay's loved one is,
It's Ben! Well, god damn it! It's the same guy who saved Sandra.
Yes, I know. Well, I know that. But are they looking at like, okay, well, Ben is sort of like a big guy who maybe we want to like the other bigger guys are saying like, okay, we want to keep this guy in the game. He's that maybe he's a shield as opposed to Juicy Dave.
I think it's maybe more simple than that, in that maybe Shay just as a challenge competitor, like socially maybe, but also she is so strong. There's a lot of stuff where people, like women needed to be on like the men's shoulders. If there's like a balance component, and she's got strength, like. She's really like the full physical package for Australian Survivor, so maybe they really didn't want to lose that early.
But Brianna's no slouch.
Shay, for sure. I mean, I assume you have to be pretty physical to be a professional roller skater, but I said that in a sarcastic tone, but I actually don't know how I feel about that statement.
Well, like when she roller skates, is she like in like roller derby? Is she like fighting other women roller skaters?
Fighting?
Yeah.
Like wrestling?
Yeah, you never seen roller derby?
Absolutely
you don't have that in Australia?
I don't think we do.
It's like full contact roller skating.
These are the conversations that Nina's having to have. She's still too young.
What Brianna does? She just work at a roller rink?
Racing. I don't know. What is the sport of? Oh, maybe it's on like professional ice skating. Like maybe it's like tricks and stuff.
Well, she's roller skating.
Like choreographed.
Let's see. She's.
How are you finding
Brianna roller skating.
Just Brianna, no last name. Brianna roller skating.
Yeah.
And did you find what you were looking for? This is really like...
Let's see. What's her last name?
Juicy?
Juicy?
No, wrong. I don't know. Good Child was Dave, so is that her?
Yeah, well, yeah, she's Good Child
Okay,
also.
well that was a good
Okay, I think I put it next to
Her dad's last name is her last
Yeah, how do you get this thing to come out?
Brianna, Good Child, roller skating. Okay. Let's see. So maybe is she an influencer of roller skating? She's a presenter.
I don't know that she's an influencer. Just because she's on Australian Survivor, that is a fair bet.
Yeah, so I don't really know exactly how she makes a living roller skating.
Yeah, I would think not, but I don't know enough about roller skating. I want to say she's no slouch for sure. Shay is just on a completely different level. Like physically, I think Shay could be one of like the strongest women. I mean, Sam on the other side, like the clear complements of each other, but Shay is very, very strong. I think maybe that contributes to her just being kind of essential earlier on.
This is just dumb.
I'll buy it.
Should we talk about King Khan? Because I want to deep dive way too much into what became Store Expedition to everything about that. I just have like a page on every part of it.
I love King Khan.
Khan is well known here, very well known. He was on 2 seasons.
He's
of
a master chef, right?
Yeah, which is also a big show here. Bigger than Survivor.
Yes.
And I've never watched it, but everything I've ever heard is like, I love Khan. So I feel like really good casting on that. I'm sure people will watch for him.
He's very charismatic.
Yeah, he's really charismatic. He's really fun. He's definitely standing out as a character. What did you think of
Is
his
he
week?
King Khan, Shannon, on a Master Chef? Or is that an original Survivor name?
Do you think they do as many nicknames on MasterChef?
Oh, you're gonna sure you they
I
fucking do.
don't know. Juicy would make a lot more sense. Maybe someone should do it on MasterChef instead.
Yeah, well, actually, my favorite thing with Khan was that when he went to the store, and then he came back, and he talked about how, so he said, he came back and he said, well, the pro is that, I want to make them believe, that, I have the protection, and then I'm being honest with them. And he's like, the con is that it could make me mad. Like, no, you're the con! You're con! That's the con!
That was your favorite thing he did this week? Not a great week for Khan. Khan said his own name!
Yes, he said
By accident.
wait, did you ask me, what do I think about his physique?
No, what did you think of him this week?
Oh, this week? I was like, Sharon, don't make me objectify Khan on the podcast.
I think it's good. Like, why we don't what? You don't. Yes, Rob. Unhinged.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I thought the physique is good.
Well, I'm gonna ask you that about everyone now. Let's go through the cast.
I thought the week is good. I thought that they were setting Khan up to be for a little bit of a fall. I thought, but it was a fall that never came.
Yeah, well, that's my concern with Khan. I think he's doing a lot well. I think clearly the architect of the Brianna vote, although I kind of feel like that vote kind of architected itself, but he's behind that the most.
The author of the recipe.
Yeah, he's cooking some
For
stuff up.
grilled Brianna.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Shaken, not stirred. I'm not a cook. I shouldn't do with the medical.
That's just,
Just desserts.
I gotta cook Brianna up over here.
But I was concerned for Khan that, he's like, oh, I'm just cooking. No one sees me coming. And everyone else is like, yeah, he's the
Let
king.
Khan cook.
Yeah. But, should people be calling you the king week 1? Is that, that could be worse than Juicy Dave. You don't want to be the king week 1.
Right. But I do think is he, is that a nickname that he comes into the season with, that he is King Khan?
I don't think he's King Kong on social media, to which I say, thank you for your restraint, Khan. Thank you for not making a social media account with your nickname. I appreciate it. I feel like the King Khan thing was being very much put on him. I don't think that he was coming in with that.
King Khan ain't got something on me.
So I want to go through the whole store thing from the very beginning, because there were so many decisions in this, and they were just kind of all a little baffling to me.
Yeah.
The first one being, so Blood sent Dave, Juicy Dave, to the store.
Yep.
Thoughts on this as a choice? Because it felt like Sandra and Dave were the options to go. So you want to send someone you really trust, there might be something there, someone who's going to do well for the tribe, not be individual in it. And they send the 2 people who end up being the 2 people kind of up for elimination. I feel like those should be the last. They're talking about Sandra, and then they're talking about, then they send David. How are those the 2 names?
I think that they might have just had mercy on Juicy Dave after his daughter got voted out.
Well, that's what Sam says, but Sam obviously trusts Dave at that point, not for much longer. But I think Sam really pushed it to not being Sandra and to be on Dave, so I think that might have been her influence for someone who was in her camp at the time, and she has the easy excuse of Brianna just left.
Alright, fine.
Yeah, but I just thought, from the production standpoint, I felt like this was a little bit of a weird scenario that they set up here.
In terms of what?
Well, I feel like, first of all, I think it's been a little weird in terms of, that they let the tribes have the decision to share the rewards.
I love that.
Throughout the season.
I love that.
It's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know if I like it or not.
I love it because I always enjoy when they're given choices, and it's easy now because they all have loved ones on the other side, so it's not a debate. But then later on they'll lose loved ones, they'll be mad at the other side. half the tribe or whatever won't have any stock in that. They'll actually want those people to suffer, so it might become more of a debate. And like, it's already, I think, been really interesting. So water give over a reward to blood, and then the next episode, Dave, who got that comfort from them, is like, no, I won't give you anything. So I felt like already we're getting kind of some drama out of that and some intrigue in the choices.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
That's interesting. Like, I feel like that the first one I didn't like as much as this
was fun.
conundrum, where it was like, okay, there's fishing gear and there's comfort. If you want, you can give one of the things. It's like when we're like splitting up the reward, it just seems like a little bit like not what Survivor is supposed to be.
Especially because the challenge to get those things are just like so brutal in like the hottest heat you will ever feel, and then like they both kind of get something anyway. It's like, wow, we really could have all just like laid down in the shade and just taken our rewards. But I still think anytime you give the players a choice, like I'm never really gonna complain.
Okay. So then here we have the thing where it's like, oh, you could take 3 items, or you can take 2 and give them 1.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay, so that's interesting. But then I felt like that then to give them both an idol for free, to me, I felt like seemed like a lot.
Okay, giving them both an idol was completely insane. I completely agree with you. Firstly, when they rock up to the store, it says any idols found won't count as an item. That's a very, very loose interpretation of the word found. Like any idol seen right in front of your face.
Like, it wasn't. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna have to like, are they gonna have to like go through all the things? And then I thought that might have been interesting. Where
shit!
Okay, well, now it's like Dave, like, all right, hey, Khan, get out of here!
That was
Stop
me
touching
being an idiot.
everything.
I didn't look at my
I'm
house.
just checking this out. Yeah. But then to give them an idol, like I feel like that what would have been more interesting is to say the idol does count as a thing. So now explain, Juicy Dave, when you come back, why do you only have 2 things?
Well, they don't know what 2 or 3.
Well, actually,
oh, right, because they
we might as
said
well
it
end
was
here,
gonna be
right?
3. Did they?
So it didn't matter,
Say
actually.
that on the map?
Yeah, they said it was gonna. I mean,